Okay, so we'll shift this, and there are certain settings which we need to do after shipping. Okay. So today we are going to do our first shipping, but today our shipping will not be for master data. It will be for the org structure elements. Okay. So if you want to know what is, okay, same in the way, if you ship a customer, it is going to create a business partner. If you ship a vendor, it is going to create a business partner. That already we have seen. So if you see, this shipping, they create this entries automatically. So a supply chain unit with business attributes of I and V, it represents a plant. Okay, a shipping point with business attributes RO represents a receiving office. That means we have a good receiving point and good issuing point, right? Our shipping point. So in our case, we have we are using the same shipping point for good receiving also and good issue also. Okay, but you might come across with some companies, they have a different point for receiving, different for uh, shipping. So in that case, the shipping point from where you are receiving is represented in EWM as RO, receiving office. The shipping point from where you are shipping is represented as shipping office. In our case, both are same, so shipping supply chain unit will have both attributes, sales office and receiving office as well. Okay. Then your business partner also, you can recognize whether it's a plant or customer. Sorry, it's a customer or a vendor by understanding a field called as external ID. Okay. So external ID, if you see, it will tell you what it is. If it is 2, that means it is vendor. If it's 4, that means it's customer. Okay. So let me log into ECC and we'll shift at least plant shipping point, and I think I also have to create, and as part of prerequisite, we also have to create a customer and vendor. That means a plant as a customer and a plant as a vendor. If you see right at the start, we have a requirement where we have to create a plant, uh, customer as a plant and vendor assigned to plant. Okay, so you have to create both this. This is for the purpose of as I told you, for some scenarios like STO, where your plant acts as customer and vendor. When it is supplying and receiving from other plants, it acts as vendor and customer. So your plant, why we need to also create plant as vendor or customer, because we create deliveries, right? So delivery always requires a customer or vendor, correct? So in some internal process, if you create delivery for some internal process which is not going out, which is stock which is not coming from some other vendor, if we create any other internal delivery, let's say movement from one store location to another, you know, so those deliveries, they are not ideally dealing with another external customer or external vendors. So such delivery will have customer and vendor as plant. Okay. So it's very important to create plant as customer, plant as vendor. I mean, in stock transfer process, you are expected to create the same plant as vendor, plant as customer, because in that case you are interacting with another plants. You are creating delivery for that plant, and so your plant becomes vendor, okay, and that plant becomes customer, and vice versa, right? The same way, first we will create a plant, and then the vendor as plant and customer as plant, and then we'll try to ship it. Okay. So what you can see on the screen now, I'll just first, I mean, just log down to ECC, so you can see ECC easy access screen on your screen now. So first, we on the ECC side we'll be creating a vendor. Okay, this vendor will be your representation of your plant. Okay, so our company code is 1000. Let me check what our purchase organization is. So as part of your as part of your cutover activities, you have to do this each time. Okay, so our plant is 8000. Okay, so let's try to create the one purchase organization is PRID, yeah, account group, and I want to create in the name of VN, let's just vendor 8000. So account group is important for creating vendor masters, right? So I'm just taking an account group which is for plant. It's 007. Okay, so just keep it as Germany because we have copied from template, which is templates are always based out of Germany. So the name is okay. So it will ask you these mandatory fields. These are accounting data, so just simply maintain, generally maintain as 16000. Okay, cash management group. Make it domestic. Just all the financial fields, just skip them. So currency, make it euro. Okay, so when I save this, it will create a vendor, but this vendor means plant, and it is a plant as vendor is VN 8000. How do you recognize that this plant is the vendor which we are talking about? So you have to come here, okay, purchase organization data or additional purchasing data, and you have to enter the plant here. Okay, so just make a note of this, that your normal vendors will not be coming and entering a plant here, but for vendor which is representing a plant, you have to enter it here. Okay, save. Let us now create a customer as a vendor, sorry, customer as a plant. So customer, okay, let me try this number range. I'm not sure the number range will work here. Let me try CU 8000. What is the sales of? It is 110,000. Okay, so we same like account group in vendor master, we have to create account, select account group in here as well. So I think we don't have a specific for plant. Let us see. Okay, let us take this. Looks like this is most relevant. Okay, so now we can see that this is number range. I mean, it's trying to assign internally a number range. So what I will do is I'll just change the number range so that it will take external number range. Yeah. So account group settings I'll quickly change because we want in that particular range itself. So we will get it in financial accounting. Accounts receivable, accounts payable. Customer accounts, master data, okay, it should be here somewhere. Assign number ranges to a group, and I think okay. So this is here they are assigning number ranges, but we need to change the account group somewhere to make it. Need to assign a internal number range. So here we define the account group at number range, define some number ranges. It's here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll see what number range comes for us. You can try to take external, anything with the external. Let's say XX looks okay, it should accept XX. Okay. I think I'll have to come out and come in again. Cool. So we are now able to create a customer plant as customer as CU 8000. Yeah? So we can create a name, we can assign information. I need to select a region. select the zone, transportation zone. Okay, so we can enter trading partner. So it's 8,000, yeah. Company code is 1,000. Vendor is, we keep it blank now. So let us quickly go to sales area data. Okay, so I think we'll have to give you the vendor, which is identified as plant. So this customer basically represents that vendor. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter here VN 8,000. So it's just going to be reconciliation report. Receivable domestic. Just take standard entries for this financial fields because we'll not be going into this financial stuff. I think don't worry, it's saying vendor has been created. It looks like somebody from a web is practicing something. Okay, so that's done now. So we created plant as vendor, plant as customer. Now let's do the SIFing here. So SIFing the transaction is CIF-M1. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sift the org structure data for my plant. So I'll say 8,000. You can give any name. It's org data. I will enter org. Logical system. This is a system where I want to send the data to. So APO application, you can create anyone or you can enter anything. This is just to group your integration models together. Okay. So just I can create org structure or I'll just keep it all. Okay, you can also use a one. You can also use a one where the which you can find in your drop down. You can also use one whichever you see most relevant from the drop down. Okay. So what you have to do here is select plant, which is 8,000. Okay. Then these settings you are going to do. So make it 2 both. Okay. And then I want to enter details of vendor, which is VN 8,000. Okay. Again, make it 2. Shipping point. We just have to maintain a shipping point now, which is again I think it's SPAT, yeah. SPAT. Okay, so after you entered all these things, so create integration model. So what it does basically, integration model, it groups together, your entries that you want to set PWM. Okay, so you have given a selection criteria. We'll see to it in further detail, when we are going through the material master setting. Okay. Okay. So then you have to say generate integration model here. Okay. So it creates an integration model which groups all those data, and then you have to do a CIF M2, that is activate or deactivate integration model. So if after CFM1, if it immediately you go to CFM2, you will see this last accessed model here. So just go and execute. Okay. So you'll see this last run integration model. Select it and start. So this is an old issue. So we ignore it. Enter a postal code. It's asking me. Okay, so that's failed because of some postal code. Let me check in EWM, postal code for which entity it was trying to search. So you can see, we were using sifting technique, but in the background it uses the queues, the QRFC. So you will see a queue failed for today. I think this should be the one, I guess. So instead of postal code, I just want to giving me the log. So we'll quickly verify if we can go and change the postal code here. So maintain postal code. So is it for a vendor? Let me maintain the same for our customer as well. Do we have a postal code here? Let me give a good name for city, or else that check might fail. Okay. So let's now try again to activate an integration module. It has failure. So here you can see, the log customer. So it was looking for a postal code for customer. Okay. So just come out of this and then try to reactivate my integration now. So here it has failed. I'll just say new status, activate, and start. So this is how you activate the integration module. You have to come here and just check mark the new status that you are ready, and then start. Ignore previous error. This is which we faced some time ago, so I'll ignore that also because it's a failed queue, right? So those queues have to be cleared regularly. It's still not able to access. Let me check the log here again. Still asking for some postcode. I have to delete this log. In fact, I'll delete all SIFing logs because unnecessarily, tries to check any existing log there. Okay, so let me go back, come in again. Stop. So, no. So I think it has gone through now. So you can see the new status and previous status both having check mark. So all the elements have moved now to EWM. Okay. So as part of this shifting that we have done here is we have just shifted the plant. Okay. We have shifted the shipping point, the vendor and customer. Now we'll go and analyze these things in EWM. So if you come here in EWM now, and basically it creates a supply chain unit. Okay, so if we go into master data here, so this is not an org structure element, this is master data supply chain unit. Okay, that we have created 8000. So you can see it has created, and it's created by RFC user, and it has taken the geographical data from the region and all those things. So you can see the address coming from that of a plant, and you can see it's a planning location, so it represents your plant. So there is a business attribute called INV. Okay, so here you can see the business attributes of warehouse. We cannot assign it to the plant because here that assignment is done to the plant because plant is warehouse. But in our case, our plant is not a warehouse. A plant number is not a warehouse number. Okay, so we have a different warehouse number, right? So our warehouse is WH80. Okay, uh, just 1 minute. I'm just trying to display some all entry. So our plant will not go and assign, the I mean, not sure if we have to assign, but if it stops us, then we'll go and assign, because our business attribute, this is not a warehouse. So basically this is the planning location. Okay, so our warehouse is WH80, or so that warehouse we cannot shift from ECC, correct? We have to create it in EWM. Okay, so we just come here and say create. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just copy the same detail as plant. So this, so plant we could copy, from ECC, we could get the supply chain unit created, but this warehouse, we cannot create it, because this warehouse only exists in EWM, so we'll have to manually create it. Okay, so basically we need to have a warehouse as a supply chain unit. Okay, so let's go to master data and just copy the details of plant to our warehouse. Copy like this. Yeah. Let me close the tabs. Description. Warehouse 110. Oh, sorry, warehouse 8,000. Warehouse for plant 8,000. Okay. So address everything. Let us keep same for our warehouse. And then here comes the attributes. So here we just have to go and assign attribute IND. So this is the warehouse. Okay, so just contrary to what you can see on the screen, we have created a supply chain unit for plant, but for supply chain unit for our we have created a separate supply chain unit because we don't have the same name, same number for plant and same number for warehouse. Okay, so we have created a new supply chain unit in the name of warehouse and assigned attribute INV. Okay, so this we have two supply chain unit now, one which represents the plant and one which represents the warehouse. Okay, so now let us go to the next supply chain units that we created, that is CU 8000. Yeah. So if you see, okay, CU 8000, it's again, it's okay, I'm not bothered about CU 8000. I just want to see SP 80. So you can see this is a shipping point, and you can see the attributes of receiving office and sales office are assigned to it. Okay, so that means, you know, the it will act as a shipping point and a good receiving point as well. Okay, so this is all coming from the config that we did in ECC. Okay. So we shifted, then customer, the customer and vendors would also have been created here. So the most easy transaction in EWM is to remember is business partner, which is BP. Okay, so here we can see it might have created shipping point, or sorry, business partner is not shipping, but it's customer vendor. Okay, so customer is CU 8000. Okay, so you can see the customer is created, and this customer, you can see here that in the identification type you will see it's a customer number. Okay, same way we can create a vendor. You can see it's in the name of EN 8000. Okay, then we have also set our plan. It will be 8000. Okay, I think it's not. Okay, I think plant is not created as business partner, I guess. Okay, in next settings we will come to know, okay, if we need that. So you could see, you know, that based on external ID, it identifies whether it's a customer or a vendor. Okay, so after this sifting, we just simply sift the data. We now have to do some setting on EWM side related to sifting. So we have done some setting related to sifting on the ECC side. Okay. So now let us see, you know, if what settings we need to do after sifting on the EWM side. Once the setting we have done is of supply chain unit. Okay. So you can see a plant, when it is transferred, it creates a location and supply chain unit. So it doesn't create a business partner. Sorry, the customer and vendor, they create location and they create a business partner. So we could see in BP transaction. Shipping point, when we shift, it creates a location, supply chain unit. Okay, and it gives it a good receiving or you know, shipping office as an attribute. Okay, so creating supply chain unit for a warehouse, we just did this. We could enter the supply chain unit here. In this case, we are entering that up. In this case, it's the same plant, because where we are assigning I and V, because in this example which we had taken earlier, the plant name was EM01, the warehouse name was also EM01, the shipping point was also EM01. So you can see all the three attributes are assigned here. But now, you know, in our case, our warehouse is different, so we have created a warehouse separate and assigned it to I and V. Okay. Now there is the next transaction. Okay, so like we do, we created a plant. Okay, and then we did the assignment of the plant to company code. Same way, now we have created a supply chain unit. Now we need to do the assignment here. This is a transaction. So here I need to enter my shipping form in my warehouse WH80, and this will be blank. So what I have to do here is I have to enter relationship here. So I'll say that my supply chain unit business attribute INV, this is the shipping point. Okay, this is the supply chain unit business attributes RO. That means this supply chain unit is linked to this supply chain unit. So these attributes device we recognize that this is a warehouse and this is the shipping point. So here we do the assignment of warehouse to shipping point. So our warehouse was WH80. Okay, business attribute INV, and we are saying that it is assigned to just having a relationship with SP80 business attributes RO. Okay, and we'll also create another entry where we will say business attribute SO. So you have to do this for each of your shipping points. Okay. We missed something here. No, just give me a minute. So now it is saved. Okay, maybe somewhere it might have taken some space or something. So we have maintained this attribute now. So okay. So next is enhancing business partner for plants. Okay. So what we have to do here is, okay. So in this case, our so as per the integration document, SAP is saying that we should create customer also with the same name and vendor also with the same name. Okay, so what we have done is we have created the customer with a different name, right? So what we'll do is we'll try to create a customer with the same name, because in next setting, the business partner, we want to keep the same partner, okay, as same partner as plant, as customer, and as vendor. So our business partner, which represents a plant, should be 1. Okay, so in this case we have taken it as a name of CU8000. I think we need to create it in the same name as VN8000. So what we'll do is we'll quickly create that, but we don't need to SIF it because we already have a business partner with the name of VN8000. Okay, so let me quickly create it. And we'll change our customer now, just to okay. We'll change. We'll go to XD02 and change our customer here. So we'll have to change it to remove this from there. We need to remove it and vendor from there. Okay. So based on SAP's recommendation, what we have done is we have given it in the same name. Vendor and customer is the same name. Okay. So now what SAP is saying, that okay, as part of the setting, next setting, we have to enhance the business partner for plant. Okay, so business partner for plant is same that we shift for vendor or customer. Okay, so we need to go and add roles here. Okay, and then what we need to do is in the identification type, you have to make sure we add your customer and plant. Okay, so your BP of your vendor that we have set, just go into the change mode. Okay, and let us go and assign the, so this is must, yeah. So this is a very important setting without which we cannot proceed with the next set of settings or proceed with our testing. Okay, so here I'm saying it's a customer, plant is represented customer. I just want to see if I could have maintained your C, whether it should have been okay. So it's 1. I think my term should be same. So it's 11. So it means whenever we are getting any delivery with this name, with the vendor this, that means this is the plant. Okay, so this is a representation of your plant. Okay. Then what we have to do here is we have to go in the drop down. See, you can see that it's only maintained as vendor. Okay, and this is general business partner view maintained, or that level. It is allowed to be used in these many roles. So just maintain the relevant, such an out structure element. Just go and maintain that particular role. Okay. It is because it's customer is also will maintain it as sold to party, ship to party. Okay. And you don't see any billing. We don't see it as a carrier. Carrier is someone who arranges the freight and all those things, transportation for your plants. Okay. So I've just saved it. The same settings are mentioned here. You just have to make sure after you select your customer or vendor, you make the identification types correct and you assign the roles here. Okay. So once this is done, then we have to do one setting, which is assigning of these business partners that we have created. So in the config, okay, let us go into config now. SPRO. We have a config of assign warehouse number. So this is important config. Without this, we cannot proceed with our testing. We have to say, we have to assign the supply chain unit here. Okay. So this supply chain unit is that we have created for our vendor. Sorry, supply chain unit that we have created for our plant. Okay. Oh, sorry, for our warehouse with INV category. Okay. So who is the custodian for this? The custodian is the plant. Yeah. So who the custody of the stock which is there is with which business partner? So these two are business partners. Okay. So it is with VN 8000. So this setting is important because whenever the stock, and there is another setting, party entitled to dispose, which means who is allowed to dispose the stock in your warehouse. So it's the plant itself. So we, in a generic scenario, you have it, this is for your stock which is in your warehouse. We maintain it like BP for the plant, and this is supply chain unit for the plant. Okay. So here the supply chain unit is PL 1000 because the warehouse in ECC was also 1000, but in our case we have a different warehouse, so we have created different supply chain unit. Okay. So this is the setting that we have to do here, and this is one-time setting before you start using a warehouse. After you start using a warehouse, you cannot change here. So these entries you will be getting in a deliveries, that whenever the stock is received in this delivery, this is the custodian, this is the party entitled to dispose. See, in some scenarios we'll get a different party entitled to dispose. Let's say in vendor consignment. So in that case, we will only pay to the vendor when we consume the vendor stock. Okay, so for in that case, the party entitled to dispose is your vendor. Okay. So same way, in many scenarios we might have different custody and different party entitled to dispose, but a normal stock in your warehouse, it belongs to the plant. Okay. So here we enter those details. Okay. So I think we'll stop here today. There are a few more settings which we need to complete as part of our integration. So just I think there is one very important setting related to availability group. Then I think we are done with the integration, and then we'll quickly test that whether our integration is working fine or not. So just a few more settings, and then we are done. So any questions on whatever we discussed, or anything which looks unclear?
Yeah, hi Ron. Today here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my basic question is like that in generally like we have like a customer and vendor with different name like in real time like whatever I seen. So in EWM we have to maintain that same name at every time like or it's like depend upon the scenarios.
Yeah. See, you can see a plant is created as customer and plant is created as vendor. Only for this case, you
Mm-hmm.
need to have same number.
Okay, this
Okay.
case means
The
we
reason
to
is,
shipping like shipping purpose only.
yeah, for maintaining it in EWM for that purpose. So if, let's say for example, number range, I could change the number range in this system, but in your company you are not able to change the number range, correct?
Yeah.
So just create vendor, shift vendor, don't create customer, and assign the same vendor attributes of customer. Okay. So, and maybe, see, this is kind of a one-time activity that you will be doing before you start using a warehouse, start going live with your warehouse. So this one-time activity, you will have to manage with, opening the client, changing the number range, making it external, then save it, and then rechange back the number range to where it was. Why I'm saying, because it will unnecessarily avoid confusion. If you have a vendor with different name, customer with different name, both represents a plant. So just to avoid that confusion, SAP has also recommended, has also used the same approach. I mean, we need to see, if they are different, can we create two different business partners? So, so that's the reason, So just try to make it same for this purpose. This kind of business partner we are going to create at the first time when we are implementing. So in future it will be, you know your vendors and customer on daily basis will be saved. But for your plant, it's a kind of configuration, right, which we are doing, or what we call it as a red book activity or a cutover activity which we are doing now.
Okay, thank you. And one more question is like the like the creation of the customer and vendor is like done by EWM consultant or like some other people, MMO,
So,
like in real
so
time, like whatever we are doing.
yeah, it is generally done by your master data team if
Mm-hmm.
you have. But in this case, this is a kind of, as I said, a cutover activity. I mean, it depends on your scope. You'll have to ask your guy to do it, because we don't know what account. Guy to maintain the views, the FI guy to maintain the FI views, right? Because you don't know what data you need to maintain there in real time, which reconciliation account to be used. So you need to bring that to their notice that when we are going live as a cutover, you can do this. Then let me know. Then I'll start my bit of config, my bit of settings.
Okay, so we have to ask that to create with the same name, like whatever you are doing right now.
Correct, correct.
Okay,
So you need to make them understand that we
okay,
need that, so they'll get it up on it.
okay. Thank you.
Hi Ron, Prashant here. So once the
Mm-hmm.
customer and vendor is created, then for EWM consultant, we just need to shift that to the EWM system, right?
Correct. And
O-
in the EWS system, go and maintain the business partner and this configuration that we just did.
Okay. In today's scenario, we uh, first shift the customer and vendor to EWM system. Then uh, we again created a customer with the same name as a vendor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we I'm not sure if we did the shipping two times or one time.
Okay, we did the shipping once
Yeah.
because for the second time when I created, I
Yeah.
didn't ship it. So just to make it faster, what I did is I just directly gone and maintain here the customer as a identification type. because all the entries, address and everything is already created, correct? So only
Okay.
the next time I would have shipped CV and 8000 as a customer, it would have just updated this. So I've just gone and manually updated. See, ultimate
Okay.
aim of shipping is to, to create entries in this. Right?
Okay. So we have to execute this as business partner transaction in the EWM system, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
So if you shift either the customer or vendor, if you shift just one of them, and then for the other you just go and maintain this identification, that is one and the same.
Okay, but another one should be created in the ECC system.
Yes, either of one should be created and saved. The other
Okay.
one you can create it later on. That's not a problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So Ron, you're like telling that customer and vendor is like vice versa. Like customer can be represented as a vendor and vendor can be represented as a customer. Like if you're creating one in that scenario.
Mhm. No, I'm saying that you create a vendor, you shift the vendor. So if you shift a vendor, this entry will be blank.
Okay.
Okay. If you shift a customer, automatically system is going to maintain this entry of
Okay.
customer.
Like
So
anyone
instead of
should be maintained like customer or vendor.
yeah anyone, if you're shipping a customer, then this entry you'll have to come and maintain manually.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, this document is already shared with you, Shreyas. Okay. So, Tabriz, can you send me the recording for this, please?
Sure. Sure.
This session, please.
I will send you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So we'll end the session for today. Okay. Regarding, I have another meeting to join. So regarding your plant issue, Prashant and Tabriz, have you copied the plant and created it?
We have copied that plan and created that SAM and it's showing onto the system. But whenever we are like assigning to that plan to shipping point, it's not showing into that hierarchy.
Okay, okay. I got it. I'll just have a look at it and I'll update you.
Okay.
So I have access to your system, so I'll just check that and let you know.
Okay. If you want like plan number and that we can send you that plan
Yeah,
number so you can check.
that's mentioned. I think somebody has emailed me. I'll have a look at it and let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.